On Osrc News at 7, Ondo State Government rewards best teachers to mark International Day as implementation of 65 years retirement age commences. Ondo House of Assembly identifies with CAC Okeigon over kidnap of members, pledges action on security laws. PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar seeks justice in certificate saga involving President Tinubu. And from the foreign scene, at least 51 killed in Russian missile attack in Kharkiv. Organization. It is a standard-setting instrument that addresses the status and situations of teachers around the world and focuses on appreciating, assessing and improving the educators of the world and to provide an opportunity to consider issues related to teachers and teaching. The theme for this year's celebration is the teachers we need for the education we want, the global imperative to reverse the teacher shortage. Education stakeholders have urged government at all levels to undertake a critical review of Nigeria's education system and improve the welfare of teachers for qualitative delivery. They made a call to commemorate this year's World Teachers' Day in Akure, the Ondo State capital, with the theme, the teachers we want, the teachers we need for the education we want, the global imperative to reverse teacher shortage. Omaro Langbeji reports that Ondo State government also rewarded some teachers who distinguish themselves in the profession. We bring you that report in the course of the bulletin. The chairman of Ondo State Universal Basic Education Board, SUBEB, Victor Olabinton, has called for proper recognition of teachers in nation building as the world marks Teachers' Day. The SUBEB boss, in an interview with Osrc, said teachers are special breeds that must be accorded their rightful position in the scheme of things in the society. Olabinton commended the Ondo State government for the huge investment in the state's education sector, said the theme of this year's 2023 World Teachers' Day was apt. He said the theme tallies with the focus of the state government to continue to recruit qualified teachers to fill identified critical shortages in schools. Quality assurance in education is systematic monitoring, evaluating, regulating and reporting educational programs and practices towards attaining acceptable standard in teaching and learning process. Director of Inspectorate and Quality Assurance in the Ondo State Ministry of Education, Science and Technology, Mr. Ademola Lomuagun, spoke while addressing participants at a one-day capacity building workshop for secondary schools teachers in Odigbo and Ileoluji-Okeibo local government areas of the state. The report is presented from our studio.
The one-day capacity training program was facilitated by a member of the Federal House of Representatives representing Odigbo and Ileoluji-Okeibo Federal Constituency, Mayowa Akinfolani, as part of his avowed commitment to the development of education in the constituency. The training drew about 100 participants, mainly teachers and principals from selected secondary schools across the two local government areas. Mr. Lomuagun, while delivering a paper on quality assurance, a tool for effective curriculum delivery in schools, described quality assurance as a practice for setting sustainable standards in the education sector. According to him, periodic training of teachers to keep them abreast of modern educational techniques becomes imperative for meaningful and relevant learning experience for students.
Our major concern is how to uplift the standard. There we are talking about quality assurance, quality assurance, quality assurance. Quality assurance education is a systematic monitoring, evaluating, regulating and reporting educational programs and practices to ensure that attainable standards are attained and maintained.
Also, a director in the Department of Research, Planning and Statistics in the Ministry, Mr. Oluwadairo Obajulaye, while speaking on legal aspects of education administration, advised teachers in the state to observe all relevant education laws, directives, circulars, and policies so as to not run foul of the law.
We also emphasize that the first aid must be done with adequate record. It's not a thing you just do anyhow. No, let there be record. And it has its own limitation. You cannot assume the role of a doctor. Hello, you are a professional teacher, you are not a doctor.
The facilitator of the program, Mayo Working for Learning, represented Mr. Godwin Oluremisin, said he was motivated by the desire to complement the efforts of the Oluwarotimi Akedolu administration in providing qualitative education to people of the area.
It's giving out a very good impact, not even to the participant alone, but down to the student in the schools.
Mayo Working for Learning last year organized a similar training program for teachers in Odigbo and Ileoluji, Okeigbo local government areas, and also intervened in renovation and construction of blocks of classrooms and ICT facilities in schools to enhance teaching and learning in the two local government areas. Kunle Aluyo, Osrc News.
On the commemoration of World Teachers' Day, the Ondo State government has approved the adoption of the harmonized retirement age for teachers in the state public service. According to the government, the new scheme takes immediate effect. The harmonized retirement age means that teachers in the state public service can retire at the age of 65 or 40 years of service. The state government, in a statement by the Permanent Secretary, Office of Establishment and Training, Governor's Office, Mrs. Daria Toshi, said the extant policy on the retirement age of 60 years or 35 years of service still subsists. The statement added that any teacher who wants to benefit from the service extension must apply, among other conditions. In concerted efforts to end the rising cases of kidnapping, the Ondo State House of Assembly says it will put in place a law that will further empower security agencies to curb the trend. The Speaker, Olamide Oladiji, during a visit to the authorities of the Christ Apostolic Church, Odubanjo Regional Headquarters, Okeigon, Akure, following the kidnap of some choir members last week, said the 10th Assembly was committed to strengthening the security architecture of the state. Assembly correspondent Omoshiliola Adesoye Ajari reports that the Speaker was represented by his deputy, Prince Abayomi Akinroton. Still on security matters, worried by the worsening insecurity in the country, the Senate has resolved to summon the service chiefs. The upper chamber took the decision after deliberating a motion on the kidnap of 5 female students from the Federal University Dunsinma in Katsina State on Wednesday. Those to be summoned include the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tariq Labaja, Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala, and Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Asin Abubakar. Also to be invited are the Inspector General of Police, Olukayode Egetoku, and the National Security Advisor, Lou Ribado. The lawmakers asked security agencies to be more proactive and ensure the rescue of the abducted female students as well as the core members kidnapped by terrorists in Zamfara State. They urged the military to conduct special operations to dislodge bandits in the northwest and in other parts of the country, and also called on the federal government to address the manpower deficit in the armed forces You're still watching Osrc News at 7. It's time to take a break. We'll be back shortly. Please stay. Thanks for rejoining us on the news tonight. You can watch us live on our website by visiting www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook at Osrc TV, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel Osrc TV Ondo. Now to the rest of the news. The presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) in the February 25th election, Atiku Abubakar, has called on Peter Obi of the Labour Party and the New Nigeria People's Party's Robbie Kwankwaso to join his quest for justice in the certificate saga involving President Bola Tinubu. Atiku had requested the release of President Tinubu's certificate from the Chicago State University over the suspicion that the certificate the former Lagos State Governor submitted to the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) may not be authentic. The former Vice President, who is challenging Tinubu's election, at a World Press Conference held in Abuja, called on Obi, Kwankwaso and other Nigerians to join his quest for justice over the matter. The PDP presidential candidate says he would continue to seek justice.
Our country is bigger than any one of us, and its standing in the world affects the fate of all who come from or live in this great country, which has great future. As leaders, it is our duty to advance the well-being of all our people. The Constitution prescribes the requirements for those who seek the highest elective office in the land. It should not take months or indeed decades for the institutions concerned to be able to do their work in establishing the credibility of any certificates presented by candidates for public office. We undertook this journey at great cost and for important reasons. The ground rules for legitimate governance in our country need to be upheld. And you who are gathered here today have the responsibility. And the reputation of our country is at stake. In line with this, let me call on all well-meaning Nigerians, leaders of thought, our religious leaders, our traditional leaders, our community leaders, our political leaders, and in particular, Governor Peter Obi of the Labour Party and Governor Robbie Kwankwaso of the NNPP, and the leaders of every political party in Nigeria, and indeed every single person who loves this country, as I do, and who wishes nothing but the best for this country as I do, to join me in this campaign to enshrine probity, accountability, and the basic principles of justice, morality, and uprightness in our country and in our government. This is a task for each and every one of us. Let me, therefore, at this juncture, thank you for listening. May God bless you all.
People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, speaking there at a World Press Conference held earlier today. Moving on to the story where members of the Ondo State House of Assembly pay a visit to The Speaker, Olamide Oladeji, during a visit to the authorities of the Christ Apostolic Church, Odubanjo Regional Headquarters, Okegon, Akure, following the kidnap of some choir members last week, said the 10th Assembly was committed to strengthening.
Following the news of the kidnap of some choir members of Christ Apostolic Church, Odubanjo Regional Headquarters, Okegon, Akure, the Speaker of the House, the Deputy Speaker, Prince Abayomi Akinruntan, who led the team of the lawmakers to the church, described the incident as unfortunate. According to him, the Assembly will review the existing laws to ensure that the people of the state are protected.
It is time to go back to the drawing board to find a way to review this law and see how it can be strengthened to ensure that the lives and property of the people of the state are protected. And of course, going forward from here, we also liaise with security agents to ensure that maximum security are being put in place along the road so that people traveling in and out of the state can travel safely.
In his reaction, the regional superintendent, Odubanjo Regional Headquarters, Pastor Benjamin Akonde, who appreciated the team for the visit, said the church had been praying and making efforts to see to the release of the remaining members.